The object in orbit was not a satellite. From the moment our instruments locked onto it, we knew something was wrong. It did not follow a predictable path. It moved deliberately, almost as if it were aware of us. At first, we assumed it was a glitch in the sensors, but as the images came through, clarity replaced doubt. Its surface was metallic yet organic, patterned in ways that no human hand could have designed. The shape was massive, angular, and perfectly symmetrical, yet the symmetry felt alive. I stood at the observation deck, unable to tear my eyes away from the monitor. Around me, the crew whispered theories and questions, none of which made sense. Every scientist on board felt the weight of history pressing down on us. We were witnessing the impossible. The object in orbit defied every rule we had ever known about spacecraft. Asteroids or debris. It was something else, something older and far more intelligent than anything humanity had built. Our scanners struggled to classify it. Energy readings were faint yet consistent, like a heartbeat, pulsing rhythmically along the hull. Chemical composition could not be matched with any known material. It was durable beyond comprehension and yet strangely flexible, almost like it could adjust itself. We realized we were not looking at a machine in the traditional sense. It was an artifact, a remnant of a civilization that had existed long, before humanity even understood metal. The most unsettling discovery was its movement. It changed trajectory subtly, always avoiding our attempts to close in too quickly. Every maneuver we made seemed anticipated. The ship was studying us as much as we were studying it. Every viewer watching this unfold would be gripped, unable to look away. Because suspense and mystery are irresistible when you realize intelligence is watching you back. Then the first signal arrived. Not a sound, not a broadcast, but a pulse of data streaming directly into our systems. The object communicated in a language beyond words, beyond images. A form of thought transferred through the interface of our technology. For a moment, time seemed to pause. We received fragments of information, star maps, unknown civilizations, and glimpses of history not recorded anywhere on Earth. It was as if the object were trying to teach us something. Fear and awe settled over the crew. We were on the edge of discovery, staring into a truth so vast that it dwarfed all human achievements. The object in orbit was not a satellite. It was older, wiser, and far more dangerous than anything we could imagine, and it had chosen to reveal itself to us now. Every second of this encounter drew us deeper into a story that would captivate anyone watching. Holding attention because each revelation was more incredible than the last, as we prepared to make our next move, it became clear that this was only the beginning. The object was waiting, observing, challenging us. In the next chapter, we would uncover its true purpose and discover why humanity had been noticed in the vast expanse of space. As we edged closer, it became impossible to treat the object in orbit as anything familiar. It was not a satellite, not debris, and certainly not a conventional spacecraft. Its surface was covered in patterns that shifted subtly, almost like a living organism breathing beneath its metallic shell. Our instruments recorded fluctuations in energy that no human technology could replicate, and the readings were precise, deliberate, and intelligent. Every movement it made seemed to anticipate ours. We were not just observing it, it was observing us. The first transmission was unexpected. At first, it was a simple stream of symbols that flickered across the monitors, indecipherable. Then slowly the system translated them into a coherent sequence of images and data. The object was revealing information, showing star systems, civilizations we had no record of, and events that predated humanity itself. It was as if we were peering into a cosmic archive. Every viewer watching this story would feel their curiosity spike, compelled to keep watching because each frame promised knowledge humanity had never seen before. The object conveyed more than information. It was teaching, warning, and testing simultaneously. It displayed the rise and fall of civilizations, technologies mastered and lost, and mistakes that led to extinction. The lesson was clear: intelligence alone is not enough to survive. Survival requires wisdom, restraint, and understanding. Our team understood that every choice we made in response would be evaluated. This was a test, and the stakes were unimaginably high. We attempted to communicate back. Carefully, we transmitted structured signals, asking questions, signaling our awareness, and demonstrating restraint. The object responded almost immediately, adjusting its position and emitting light, pulses that formed patterns of increasing complexity. We realized it was assessing our behavior, judging our capacity for responsibility and adaptability. Humanity had never faced a test like this before, and viewers would be riveted by every pulse, every reaction, because suspense comes from seeing the unknown respond to human choice. As hours passed, we began to see its intent. The object was not a threat, but a guide. It was showing paths humanity could take, choices that would lead to growth, and decisions that could result in disaster. It made it clear that knowledge without wisdom is dangerous. Entire civilizations had been erased for failing similar trials, and now it seemed we had been noticed. The object in orbit began to reveal a more personal connection, focusing on us as a species rather than just observers. It tested our judgment, our ability to learn without exploiting, and our capacity to collaborate. The more we engaged responsibly, the more intricate the knowledge it shared. We realized this encounter could shape the future of humanity itself. By the time the first cycle of transmission ended, it was evident that this was just the beginning. Humanity had been evaluated, and we had passed the initial stage. The object had shown us both the possibilities and the dangers of the galaxy. In the next chapter, the full scope of its purpose would be revealed, and we would understand why it had come into our orbit and why humanity's choices now mattered more than ever. The moment had arrived. The object in orbit was not a satellite, and now it had fully revealed its intent. It was ancient, intelligent, and deliberate. We realized that every action we had taken was under observation. Every signal we sent measured for comprehension, judgment, and restraint. This was no ordinary discovery. This was a challenge, a cosmic test of humanity itself. And the consequences of failure were unimaginable. Its transmissions became more complex, layering history, technology, and guidance in a way that demanded careful study. The object was showing us how civilizations across the galaxy had risen, flourished, and vanished. We saw the outcomes of hubris, greed, and impatience, and the rare cases where restraint, wisdom, and collaboration allowed survival. The lesson was clear. Intelligence alone did not guarantee survival. This revelation gripped us and would captivate any viewer, holding attention because every second contained insight and suspense. Each image, each data stream revealed stakes beyond our comprehension. We responded carefully, sending controlled signals back, asking questions, and demonstrating understanding. The object reacted immediately, shifting patterns of light across its hull and emitting pulses that aligned with our responses. We realized it was teaching us indirectly, assessing our judgment, and preparing us for a greater responsibility. Humanity was being tested not for its power, but for its ability to choose wisely. This moment kept viewers glued, because it combined mystery, high stakes, and the tension of witnessing something alive yet incomprehensible. Revealed a deeper purpose. The object was not merely a repository or a test. It was a guardian, ensuring that civilizations capable of great knowledge did not self-destruct or fall prey to external threats. It had watched countless worlds, taking note of failures and successes, and now it had chosen to reveal itself to humanity. Our species had a chance to learn, to grow, and to become something greater, but only if we approached the knowledge with responsibility. Every step now would determine not just our future, but the way the galaxy would perceive us. Finally, the object transmitted its last message before withdrawing from view. It was simple yet profound. Knowledge without wisdom is dangerous. Choices have consequences far beyond what we can imagine. Survival is earned through responsibility, not strength. Humanity had passed the initial test, proving that we could act with restraint, seek understanding, and prepare for challenges beyond our comprehension. The object would continue to watch from afar, a silent guardian guiding and evaluating without interference. When we returned to Earth, nothing looked different, but everything had changed. We were no longer just observers of the universe. We were participants in a story millions of years in the making. The object had vanished, but its lesson remained etched in our minds. Humanity had been noticed, tested, and given a path forward. And for anyone following this story, the suspense and awe of that encounter linger, a reminder that the cosmos is alive, intelligent, and always watching. The object in orbit was not a satellite. It was a challenge, a guide, and a guardian, and humanity had taken its first step into a future shaped not just by technology, but by wisdom, choice, and responsibility. The story was over, but the journey had just begun.